Well, let's get it. 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Wednesday. Greetings and salutations on this hump day. We're with you for the next 3 hours here on the Sports Voice of Kansas. 580 WIBW FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and on our streaming video channels, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube, WIBW News on Facebook. However, wherever, whenever you're tuned into the program today, thank you so much for being part of 580 Sports Talk. My name is Dan Lucero. Spencer Dupuy will be along in the 4 o'clock hour. Brendan Dorzinski is off today. 3 hours of sports talk, and then we'll hand it off to the Royals Baseball Network for the finale of a 3-game series between the Royals and the Yankees at Kauffman Stadium. First pitch again, 6:40 tonight. Pregame coverage starting at 6 o'clock as the Royals will try to avoid an offer for a second straight season against the Bronx Bombers. I had a lot of sugar. I had a really sugary snack before the show, and my vocal cords are giving out. My voice might crack 1 or 2 more times. I want to apologize and tell you why that's coming. Anyhow, Game 3 of the 3-game series. Royals, if they lose tonight, and Noah Cameron is on the mound against the Yankees, so prognosis not good. They would go for 6 against the Yankees for a second straight year. The losing streak, including the postseason, would reach 14 in a row against the Pinstripes. And you know who's pretty sure that streak is going to reach 14? The New York Yankees. And the way they acted last night proved it. By the time you had quit watching, I saw something that made it very, very clear what the Yankees, and it's not hard to say by extension, the rest of the contender class probably thinks of the 2026 Kansas City Royals. So we're going to get into that. It's not pleasant, but we're going to get into it anyway. At the very least, one good thing did emerge from last night's performance. We won't ever have to watch Bailey Falter in a Royals uniform again. Inshallah, we will not have to live that nightmare ever again. Bailey Falter designated for assignment today. His assignment ought to be putting the fries in the bag, because I never want to see him throw I never want to run the risk of having to see him throw a baseball in a major league game ever again. It is an entirely unpleasant experience, unless you're in the opposing batter's box, at which case you're fighting with your teammates at the bat rack for next licks. 15-1 was the final last night. It was worse than it sounded. We'll relive it as much as we are capable of tolerating the agony of reliving it. And then we're going to get on to bigger and better things, because the Chiefs open OTAs this week. Couldn't get us to training camp, but they got us to OTAs. I guess we'll take that. OTAs are open, and the media will get access tomorrow. The media will get to hear from Andy Reid. We'll get to hear probably from Patrick Mahomes, I would imagine, if that's the only day media has access. I can't imagine that we would not hear from QB1, who, as we found out yesterday, is back in action at OTAs. But what are the other big questions for Andy Reid, for the Chiefs at this stage? It's only phase 2 of the preseason program. What are the questions? What are the points of intrigue right now for this Chiefs roster? And so we'll kind of lay out what the storylines that are not Patrick Mahomes related are for these OTAs and this phase of the offseason. Because I'm not sure Mahomes is a storyline anymore, to the extent of, like, at this point, it would be an upset if he weren't playing week 1 against the Broncos. And we've kind of always sort of felt like that. But now I think it would be shocking. I think we're at that point. It would be shocking if Mahomes is not playing week 1. So aside from that intrigue, which I'm not even sure there's really intrigue around that anymore, what else is intriguing about OTAs for the Chiefs? We'll get into some of that. We'll get to some other topics today as well. Congress has Don't turn your dial. This is not turning into a different show. Congress is trying to pass college sports-related legislation. They had a bill, a bipartisan bill. It was called the SCORE Act. it died before they got to a vote. That had as much to do with other issues currently that the United States Congress is dealing with right now than its own failings as a bill. But the SCORE Act is dead. That's not coming back. But there's a new proposal that's out front, another bipartisan proposal out there today. And this one actually feels like it could pass. Well, what would that mean for college sports? Does it really benefit college sports, or does it just benefit the NCAA and not really college athletics as a whole? Because I don't think necessarily what's good for the goose is good for the gander, so to speak. So a little bit of discussion about that. We got in headlines, we're going to get today to the first salvo in the Major League Baseball CBA negotiations. The players put forth their first proposal today. We got some sports business stuff on the show today. It's a Wednesday in May, and the home nine stink. I don't know what to tell you. It's not always my favorite topic to get into, but I do think it is interesting. So we're going to get into that a little bit on today's program as well. We've got our guest today, Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com. He'll join us at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour for the Wildcat Wrap-Up presented by Tallgrass Windows and Doors. We do it every Wednesday in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll talk to Fitz about whether or not, and I know that the answer is no, but in the short term, in the recent memory, this is as bad a sports year as there has been in Manhattan for Kansas State athletics. And what can be learned, and where does the athletic department go from here? So some big picture stuff with Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com. And anything else we come to that is Wildcat related, that's coming up in the Wildcat Wrap-Up. Plus, our typical Wednesday shenanigans on the show. We'll play around a One Gotta Go. We've got our headlines, including a playoff roundup. We got What Is Wrong With You? We're going to crown a short week champion today so we can do our semifinals for the month of May tomorrow and crown a May champion, our 5th of 12 monthly champions for the year, coming up on Friday's show, our last show of the month of May. Plus, your interaction with the program. Want to hear from you. The text line is open, 785-272-9429. That is 785-272-9429. You can also interact, if you choose, in our YouTube chat. The name of the YouTube channel is 580 Sports Talk. Hop in, say hello, and if you have not done so, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get us closer to 1,000 subscribers. We're 23 shy. We're getting close. 1,000 subscribers, and we're going to have a funky good time when we get there. I promise you that. What form that's going to take, I cannot promise you, but we're going to have a good time. So, 580 Sports Talk, name of our YouTube channel. Go subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything but a click. Hop in the live chat today. I see Mark H. is in. Carl, welcome. Vance, Christopher, good to see you both. It's good to see those in the chat today. Look forward to hearing from some more of you in the YouTube live chat or, again, on the text line, 785-272-9429. Yankees 15, Royals 1. That kind of says it all, right? I could just leave it there and say, all right, we got a great show for you today, like I'm wrapping up an SNL monologue, and throw it to our first commercial break. But I have more to say about it. Because unlike you, I shouldn't say unlike you. Maybe some of you out there are gluttons for punishment. Maybe some of you out there believe that suffering builds character. Or maybe you heard that Tyler Tolbert was pitching and you decided, hey, I ain't nothing else going on. It's a Tuesday night. I'm not really into the basketball or the hockey. Let me see what Tyler Tolbert pitching looks like. I heard he's coming in to pitch tonight. I love a position player pitching. Used to be much more of a novelty. Now teams will do it. Teams will do it when they're winning. Please don't ask me how I know. I already didn't have a good sports night last night without you asking me about my favorite baseball team. But the Dodgers put Miguel Rojas in to protect I believe, a 14-run lead in the 9th inning. And Miguel Rojas, notably, not a pitcher. So teams even do it now. It's unbelievable. Every team carries 13 pitchers, and you're still in a position where we got to save arms. Do you really? That's a longer topic for another day. But position player pitching, maybe you heard about it, you turn the TV on. Maybe you're just a glutton for punishment. But I'm betting the majority of you had turned the game off last night by the time it got to the ninth inning, by the time the Royals were already hopelessly trailing, and by the time utility man Tyler Tolbert towed the rubber for the Royals to try and get the game's final 3 outs. And he did, but not without incident. There was a walk, and there were 3 hits. And one of those hits was a home run. It was Ahmed Rosario, big league veteran. Like, Ahmed Rosario's kicked around a long time. He's been a Met. He's been a Guardian. He's been, gosh, where else has he been? He's been around. He's a Dodger. Certainly now a Yankee. Like, he's kicked around. He's played for some good teams. He's played in some big games. He's had his share of moments. Ahmed Rosario homered early last night. He took Bailey Falter deep in a first inning that got away from Bailey Falter in a hurry. And last night on a 3-2 count, Ahmed Rosario waited back on a nothing ball from Tyler Tolbert that was high and outside. And Rosario put a swing on it like you would put a swing on a ball if you were hitting in slow pitch softball trying to hit the ball over the fence. Ahmed Rosario was trying to do one thing. Ding-a-dong. Hit it out. And he just barely did. Wouldn't have been a home run last year at Kauffman Stadium, but it's a home run this year. Off the top of those walls that have all come in all the way around the outfield. This one out in right center. I'm being a little more floored in my description because, again, I don't expect any of you saw this. Why did I see it? Because my wife fell asleep during a show we were watching, so I turned off the show, and it defaulted to the Royals game, and I checked it out. And Ahmed Rosario hits this home run to make it 15-1 Yankees in the ninth inning. And he ran around the bases with a grin on his face like he just hit the home run that won the Yankees the pennant. I can only describe it as a blank-eating grin. And I can only describe it that way because the FCC won't let me describe it the way I want to describe it. That's the look Ahmed Rosario, the Yankees, had on his face after hitting a home run against a utility infielder last night. Grinning like he just won the pennant because they were piling on, because he'd added to his numbers, because the beatdown was continuing. And that is who the Kansas City Royals are right now. That is who the Royals are right now. At least as far as the Yankees are concerned, certainly. But I think that's just who the Royals are right now. They are the team that you beat up and you pad your stats against. Because what are they going to do about it? Look, we joked about it on yesterday's show, right? That pitching matchup was only ever going to go one way, right? Cam Schlittler versus Bailey Falter. We joked about it. Like, in basketball, there's the concept, and in hockey too, there's the concept of the schedule loss, where you got a back-to-back and you're on the road and you play a hard game one night. Then the next night you got to go and play a good team on the road, and you've traveled, get less than 24 hours to get to the arena in a different city and all these things. We call them schedule losses in those sports where, look, schedule makers didn't do us a favor here. You're just going to have to take that L. Nothing you can do about it. The schedule loss. Baseball has those too. They're a little bit less to do with travel, a little bit more to do sometimes with the pitching matchup. Sometimes you got to run a bullpen day, and the other guy's running out of a guy who's going to be an all-star. And there's nothing you can do about it. That was a schedule loss for the Royals last night. In a vacuum, you shrug your shoulders. It is what it is. That's baseball, Susan. But it went so much worse than anybody could have reasonably expected that it would go. Bailey Falter, designated for assignment today by the Royals because they've had enough. Plainly not a big league caliber pitcher. And the Yankees beat up on him, although you do wonder if Jack Caglione had been half a step quicker and gotten to that low line drive and actually made that catch in right field and gotten Falter out of that first inning only down 1-0 instead of what ended up being 4-0. Does the game go differently? Like, results-wise, probably not. But is it a little bit more respectable at the end of the night? You'd like to think so. But Bailey Falter, no longer a big league pitcher, got his brains beaten in. Luinder Avila came in, young guy making his way. He got his brains beaten in. Steven Cruz gave up a home run. Eli Morgan got knocked around. It was everybody. It was a parade. It was a fight at the bat rack kind of night for the Yankees. And not only did they beat up on the Royals last night, they relished beating up on the Royals last night. And not in the sense that they view the Royals as a rival. Why would they? In rivalry, there has to be some give and take. There's no take for the Yankees. There is only give out these beatdowns over and over again for the last 2 years and change. That is the kind of beating. The game last night, that is the kind of beating you put on a team where you do not fear retribution. You kick sand in the 98-pound weakling's face, and you laugh, and you point, and you ask, what are you going to do about it? You going to do something? Because you know what the answer is. You know what the answer is with this Royals team. You don't fear any kind of retribution from the Royals. You don't fear it in the form of a hard takeout slide into second base. You don't fear it in the form of a brushback pitch. You sure as hell, if you're the New York Yankees, don't fear it in the form of a loss like the one the Royals had to take from the Yankees last night. It's not in this Royals team's DNA. And right now, they are juiceless. They are energyless. They have zero fight in them. And that stems from your leadership. And I point the finger to on-field leadership there as much as off-the-field leadership. They both share in this, but let's be honest. Bobby Witt Jr. is the kind of guy whose hitting music when he was in high school was the song Humble and Kind by Tim McGraw. And I like that about Bobby Witt Jr., but Bobby Witt Jr. then is not the guy who's going to chew anybody's tail in the locker room and drag them out of a morass. He's going to play great baseball. He's going to win the freaking MVP for a 90-loss baseball team this year. And ain't none of this Bobby Witt Jr.'s fault as a player. But as a leader, he's not the leader this team needs right now. Vinny Pasquantino's a good-time guy who is not the kind of leader this team needs right now. Salvador Perez has shown more emotion on X and Instagram with his manager this year than he has shown in the dugout or with any of his teammates, at least that we've been able to see. This team doesn't have the kind of leadership to pull itself out of this morass, to pull itself out of this spiral, to make anything from the rapidly dwindling chance to make anything out of the 2026 season. And the dugout leadership, the coaching leadership, doesn't appear capable of doing that right now either. You know the real shame of it? I was at those playoff games between the Royals and the Yankees in 2024. Maybe some of you were too. But I was at both of those games, that division series. Series was tied at 1 coming to Kansas City. Royals had seized home field advantage. They win both of those games. Series doesn't have to go back to the Bronx for Game 5. You go to the championship series. Could the Royals have beaten the Guardians in a best of 7 that year? Sure, they could have. Royals could have won the American League Championship. They probably would have been roadkill for the Dodgers, just like the Yankees were, but maybe not. Sports are funny that way. But I was there in 2024. And games 3 and 4 of that series could have gone either way. They were in the balance late. A swing here, a pitch there, a blooper here, a ground ball with eyes there. And the Royals could have won both of those games. If wind doesn't knock down Kyle Isbell's deep drive to right field in Game 4, the series goes back to the Bronx. The Royals that took the field for that series in 2024 and the Yankees that went on to win the American League pennant that year were not separated by very much. I really believe that. I really do. I really do. There was not that much separation between that Royals team and that Yankees team. And 12 or 11 regular season games later, 12 tonight, we're still waiting for the next time the Royals beat the Yankees. And a lot of these games have been bludgeonings. Last night, earlier this year in the Bronx, where the Royals lost 13-4 and 7-0 in back-to-back days. They had a 10-2 loss to the Yankees last year. That's not losing. That's getting your teeth kicked in over and over by the same guys. Guys who know they're going to do it to you. Guys who laugh about doing it to you. Guys that grin like idiots running the bases after they just took your 26th man deep on a 48-mile-an-hour nothing ball in the 9th inning of a game they were already up by a dozen. That should be humiliating for the Kansas City Royals. I wonder if any of them even noticed. I sure as hell did, but I wonder if any of them did. Because at some point, wouldn't pride kick in? Wouldn't some competitive spirit kick in? I hate to keep comparing every Royals team to 2015 because that's not fair, right? That's one of 2 championship teams in the history of this organization. There are a lot of other really good teams in Royals history that didn't reach that standard. But when you remember that 2015 team, remember how much, I'm trying to think of how to put this, again, is radio friendly, but they had a lot of bleep you to them, didn't they? They had a lot of, I've used the term red ass before, they had a lot of that to them, where they would take the field and know, they're going to give you 9 hard innings tonight, we're going to beat you. And if you don't like that, come and do something about it. You don't like Yordan Ventura buzzing the tower? Come and do something about it. And for the most part, teams really didn't go and do anything about it. Noah Syndergaard tried in the World Series. Everybody kind of saw through how fake that was, though. I mean, that was the game. I think that was the game the Mets won in the series. Sometimes you punch the bully back and it works. But the Royals don't punch the bully back. They don't punch anybody back. These Royals don't have that in them. That's why they're where they are. Big part of the reason why they're where they are. And yes, you got to point the finger at the players for this, but doesn't seem to be any kind of leadership on this roster who's going to grab anybody by the scruff of the neck. We said this last year, too. I swear to God, I did a very similar monologue last year where I asked the same question I'm asking now. Who's going to grab somebody by the scruff of the neck and point this thing in the right direction? Because when things are good for the Royals, they're really good. This is a jovial, kind of a front-running bunch, right? When things are good, when Vinny's smiling, when Bobby's talking about the boys playing ball and Salvy's splashing guys with the Gatorade, like things roll for this team. That's been true for the last 2 years and change, that when things go well, they really go well. But now things are going really bad. Understatement of the century. And I don't know how this team arrests it, but I know one thing for sure. They won't do it until the Yankees are out of town. We'll get your thoughts. 785-272-9429 is the text line. You can also interact with us in the live chat on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. We got a lot more to get to on the show today. We're going to talk some Chiefs. OTAs are underway. Biggest storylines, not Mahomes related, for OTAs. We got Tim Fitzgerald for the Wildcat Wrap-Up, sponsored by Tallgrass Windows and Doors. It's a great show we got planned for you today. Hope you enjoy it on 580 Sports Talk. 3:32 on 580 Sports Talk. Dan Lucero with you. Great to be with you on this hump day. As has become a little bit custom given this Royals season, I wish we were meeting under happier circumstances, but obviously not the case after the Royals were shellacked by the Yankees last night. Let's go to the text line first from the 785. There's definitely no spark on this roster, and I haven't a clue where they can go to get one. We could probably go trade for Adam Frazier. He out there? Adam Frazier kicking around? Everybody loves Frazier, right? Frazier with, he's with the only team in the American League I can say with confidence is worse than the Royals. He's an angel. I almost forgot. And honest to God, he's got a 688 OPS, left-handed bat off the bench. Like, I bet he does get moved. Somebody's going to add Frazier. Great clubhouse guy. I'd rather have him than Tyler Tolbert. I'll tell you what, man, I don't have anything negative to say about Tyler Tolbert, the person. I do not know why, and I say this with respect, of course, to the late Terrence Gore. I do not understand why the Royals are trying to recapture the Terrence Gore magic. Because the Terrence Gore magic was a function of two things. Number one, rosters were 40 players large when you added a Terrence Gore to your roster in September, and then all they did was go run, steal bases, pinch run. And number two, the teams that he was doing that for were good. When Terrence Gore was on the 26-man roster, the Royals stunk. When he was getting playing time, like real playing time, the Royals were bad. Like, I don't understand. Like, baseball's different than it was in 2015, 2016. There's no room. There's no room on even your 26-man roster for Terrence Gore anymore. And again, I say that with respect to the recently departed Terrence Gore. But that's what the Tyler Tolbert thing is to me. It's a nostalgia tour. Stop it. What else does he bring? He'll play a bunch of different positions. He'll pitch in a blowout. He's not a good base runner for the speed that he has. It's pretty damning that they don't have anybody better in the minor leagues right now to be the 26th man. And again, when you're talking about a team that's in as bad a spot as the Royals are, you can't really complain about the 26th man. That's not fair. It's not fair to Tyler Tolbert. I understand this. Again, I got nothing bad to say about the person. He's a great story. He was not, I believe, a very high draft pick, and he has grinded his way to make the major leagues. It's a 13th round pick. Great story. You can't do better than that for your 26th man? Like, if you can't, that probably is a sign that you're not very good. But yes, your broader point is correct. Like, I don't know who is supposed to jumpstart this Royals team. I don't know who's supposed to give them the boost. There's no big move they can make. They're not going to go out and add like a Ben Zobrist or a Johnny Cueto. I hate to keep referencing 2015 in reference to this team. It feels sacrilegious, right? But you understand what I'm saying. You understand what I mean. Like, there's no one weird trick. It's like, yeah, if they added two players to this roster. They're 2 players away. They're 2 players away, this roster. Unfortunately, those 2 players are Aaron Judge and Paul Skeens. Anyhow, let's go to the YouTube chat from the YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our live stream. Carl asked, why do we expect the bullpen to be any better than it has been? Specifically singling out Eli Morgan and Nick Mears, both of whom, well, Mears didn't appear in last night's game. Morgan gave up 2 runs in the 8th. Last year, Nick Mears made 63 appearances in middle relief for a playoff team. Had a whip, walks plus hits divided by innings pitched, under 1. 2 years ago, Eli Morgan was getting big outs in the playoffs for a Guardians team that went to the American League Championship Series. Some of this is just the life of a reliever, man. It ebbs and it flows. But also, like, this is kind of often what separates teams that overachieve and teams that underachieve is you need a guy who's sort of a career journeyman like Mears and Morgan are. You need one of those guys to pop and be really reliable for you. Like the 2024 Royals had Sam Long. Remember Sam Long? The best baseball of his career in 2024. He was a super reliable left-handed arm in that bullpen, and nobody would have seen that coming. Instead, the Royals have gotten like 20th percentile outcomes for pretty much all of their relievers, save Daniel Lynch. There's not a single one of them who has outperformed expectations or even been as good as expected. That's a tough draw. Like, I don't know who you point the finger to when it comes to that. But, we talk about the relief pitcher parlay. Everyone you put into a game increases the odds your parlay's not going to hit. Somebody's going to be off. Well, Royals maybe shouldn't bet parlays with this Royals bullpen because they've all gone bust. Every single one of them has gone bust. Carl also makes the point. Christopher makes the same point. Feels like the Royals go into the games against the Yankees with no hope of winning. Christopher says they're just plain scared of the Yankees. And that's the part. Like, I go back to those 2024 playoffs. Those Royals were not scared in any form or fashion of the New York Yankees. And it's mostly the same guys, right? Like, we're not talking about a radically different roster. Bobby's still around. Vinny's still around. Salvi's still around. Michael Garcia's still around. He's the one that got into it with Chisholm in the playoffs on that play at third base. Or, the play at third base in, I guess that would have been game 4. A lot of the pitchers are the same. Some of the relievers are the same. Urseg. It's not a radically different roster, but it is a radically different feeling when they take the field. It is like they do not belong on the field with the New York Yankees. And the Yankees feel it too. And that should be humiliating. Like, that's one of those you go home and I don't know how you look in the mirror if you're a Royal. And you get punched in the mouth like that. And they're laughing it up about hitting a home run off of Tyler Tolbert. I think that's the funniest thing that ever happened. How are you going to react? How do you respond? We'll find out. That's the thing about baseball. There's always the next day. We'll find out in 3 hours. 6:40 first pitch tonight. Royals and Yankees in that series finale. We'll take a break here on 580 Sports Talk. When we come back, Congress, once again, looking to intervene in the business of college sports. There's a new bill on the table after the SCORE Act never got to a vote. We'll talk about what this one has to offer and why it might actually pass. That's coming up on 580 Sports Talk. 3:43 on 580 Sports Talk. Royals are not a pleasant topic right now. But you know what is always a pleasant thing to talk about? The United States Congress. Anyhow, I bring up the United States Congress today because the Protect College Sports Act was introduced today. New and wide-sweeping legislation aiming to address many current issues in college sports. You may recall the SCORE Act. That was trying to move through the Senate not too long ago. That's dead. Whatever you knew or liked about the SCORE Act, that's dead. That's never came to a vote, not happening. But we have instead the Protect College Sports Act. Sponsors on the Republican side of the aisle are Senators Ted Cruz and Eric Schmidt. Sponsors on the Democrat side of the aisle include Maria Cantwell and Chris Coons. The Protect College Sports Act would provide the NCAA with an antitrust exemption. Do you know what other organizations have antitrust exemptions? The NBA, the NHL, the NFL, and Major League Baseball. You know, professional sports organizations. Just, throwing that part of it out there first and foremost. Like, come on. You admit it. Just say it. Just say it. You're so close, NCAA. Just admit it. Just admit what you are. You're pro sports. You're pro sports on college campuses. Just admit it. You're so close. But no, they want an antitrust exemption, not a full blanket antitrust exemption. Only Major League Baseball has one of those, by the way. I don't know if you all knew that. I don't know how up you are on labor law and when it comes to sports, but Major League Baseball is the only major sports league with a blanket antitrust exemption. The other leagues are partially covered by some other exemptions out there. The Sports Broadcasting Act is a partial antitrust exemption. But the only blanket antitrust exemption belongs to Major League Baseball. Anyway, the antitrust exemption that the NCAA is seeking would allow it to enforce rules that include a one-time only transfer rule, which would limit athletes to one transfer without penalty in the course of their college careers, limiting eligibility to a maximum of 5 years, the 5 to play 5, prohibiting former professional athletes from playing in college. We presume that is targeted towards former NBA G League players trying to get back into college basketball. How would that impact people from overseas? Youngsters from overseas who have played professionally. And by the way, that's not just a Division I thing. Washburn men's basketball has a transfer from Colorado Mesa who played for the New Orleans Breakers. No, that's the USFL. The New Zealand Breakers in the Australia's basketball league, the NBL. So that would be interesting to see how that would impact athletes in all sports. We think about it only, we don't want guys who've been drafted by the NBA playing college basketball. I'm like, okay, yeah, I kind of understand that. But at the same time, the blanket rule impacts a lot more than just a couple of former G Leaguers. Also, a rule to prohibit schools from poaching a coach from another school during their sports season. I have no idea how that would be enforceable. I really and truly do not. The bill would also give the NCAA and College Sports Commission legal cover to enforce a spending cap, a salary cap, effectively. You know what other things have salary caps? Pro sports. Anyway, moving on. A spending cap for how much each school can pay its athletes. That's from Dan Murphy of ESPN. Here's something from The Athletic that I found to be really interesting. A note from the bill where there's a recap of it over at The Athletic. The bill offers the option for conferences to pool media rights in the future and sell them collectively as opposed to the current conference-by-conference approach, another antitrust exemption that's similar to how professional sports leagues operate under the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961. Pooling media rights is a point of contention in the industry, but one that some view as a path to increased revenue that could lessen the financial burden of ballooning roster budgets and help fund Olympic and other non-revenue sports. At least 75%, this is the interesting part, at least 75% of football bowl subdivision schools would have to agree to enact a pooling of rights, a threshold that is reachable without the SEC and the Big Ten. So every other conference could say, yeah, let's do that. And if the SEC and the Big Ten said, no, it wouldn't matter. That could, in fact, happen under this bill. Republican Senator Eric Schmidt told The Athletic that buy-in from those conferences is necessary for the financial benefits to rise across the board, which certainly it is. You need them on board. Of course you do, because the bidding for a college sports media, college football package, that's essentially what should be. And that used to be the old rule, right? Like those of you who were around in like the 80s and early 90s, you remember it was CFA Saturday on CBS Sports, right? Where it was, I think it was the College Football Association, and schools pooled their media rights under that particular umbrella. And then Notre Dame was like, well, we want to pool our own media rights. We want to go it alone. And then the conferences are like, well, we could just sell our own media rights. Why don't we just do this ourselves? And that's how we got to where we are now, where the media rights for the SEC and the Big Ten are much larger. It's $10 million a year per school larger, at least, for those schools than it is under the Big 12's media deal or under the ACC's media deal. Under this bill, it would allow the option for all of college sports to decide, let's all pool our resources. Let's have the networks and the streaming services bid on all of what we have here. And it's interesting to me because they don't need the votes from the SEC and the Big Ten. But now you got the SEC, Georgia coach Kirby Smart, talking publicly about, well, if nobody can get their ducks in a row, why don't we just leave? We'll just do our own thing in the SEC. No, you won't. This is my reaction to that. If I heard that and I'm Brett Yormark or I'm Jim Phillips of the ACC, or even if I'm the Big Ten, no, you won't. No, you won't, Greg Sankey. Go for it. Fine. Run your own championships. Run your own championships. Be your own thing without anyone else. See how long that lasts. See how that goes for you. See how much of an appetite your fans have for that. See how much luck you have filling out schedules. Go. You enjoy that. Call their bluff, as far as I'm concerned. But this is where the new bill, the Protect College Sports Act, stands. And while I join a chorus of voices who would suggest that perhaps Congress has other things that it should be working on right now, I understand feeling that way. I will say that any successful laws, legislation, rules that are going to be enforceable long-term and hold up in court for the NCAA, we are all continuing to dance around the maypole. We are so close to the admission that will solve everything. Admit you are professional sports and go from there. If you are professional sports, you can make a lot more rules and you can have your athletes, your workforce collectively bargain, and you can really move forward with a little bit of logic. And I know that people say, well, if it's all the Wild West and there are no guardrails, people love saying Wild West and guardrails. Those are two very overused phrases when it comes to the discussion about modern college sports. Well, we're worried about preserving the Olympic sports. We're worried about preserving women's sports. But every change that has come to college sports in the last 10 to 15 years has been done with no thought to women's sports, with no thought to revenue sports. All this changing of conferences. If you gave a damn, if anybody had given a damn about those Olympic sports, about those women's sports, they should have stayed in the old conferences, because they would have looked and said, well, man, this is going to really hike up our athletic budgets to the point where we got to send our soccer teams. I'm at USC, and I got to send my women's soccer team to Maryland every other year instead of just traveling up and down the coast playing Pac-12 rivals. I got to go to Michigan State and play softball. If you really cared about this stuff, the time to care about preserving that was 15 years ago. That was the best time. I guess the second best time is now. Better late than never. We'll take a time out. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this 3 o'clock hour, 580 Sports Talk. Before we wrap up this 3 o'clock hour, I want to get to this text regarding the Royals. Obviously, widespread dissatisfaction with this season and some dissatisfaction with the job of the coaching staff this year. Text from the 785. I've always thought Clint Hurdle would have been a good choice for a young Royals team. Did management ever consider him? Did they interview him for the job? Did they write him off because of his disappointing career as a Royals player? Or is Clint simply happy in retirement? Just curious. I'm happy to answer that question. Clint Hurdle is not retired. He is not currently a manager or coach, but he's working in player development with the Rockies organization. He was the interim hitting coach last year for a team that lost 119 games and has been retained because the Rockies only hire people who worked for them in the past. And he works in player development for them. And a lot of that is working with young players and working a lot on, like, Clint's whole thing. And if you follow him on social media, especially, you know this, his whole thing is like mental skills and trying to, build players up, maintain their confidence, basically give players the perspective and the wisdom that maybe Clint didn't receive or that didn't take for Clint in his days as a phenom with the Royals as a player. So I think Clint's a fascinating guy. Obviously, he's been to the World Series and as a manager. He's been to the playoffs multiple times with Pittsburgh in his second time as a manager. I don't think he's looking to manage again, to be frank, to answer that side of the question. But I do wonder about that aspect of the Royals organizational development. Like, who is talking to young players and trying to grow their development in terms of growing their confidence? Because this has seemed like a team the last 3 years there's been a front-running baseball team. And when things are good, they're really good. When things are bad, it feels like they're never going to score a run or win a game ever again. And maybe having a voice like Clint Hurdle's would be beneficial for some of the young players on this team who are experiencing a lot of pretty extreme ebbs and flows in their major league careers. Even some of the not-so-young players. But I don't think he's going to manage again. I think he's happy doing what he's doing. But thank you for the question in the text. Coming up at the 4 o'clock hour, Chiefs OTAs questions and the Wildcat Wrap-Up with Tim Fitzgerald. Well, let's get it. Hour number 2, 580 Sports Talk. On a hump day Wednesday, Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis with you on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube stream, 580 Sports Talk, our Facebook page, WIBW News. Like and subscribe, folks. Hey, I'll even put a graphic on the screen right now that says, like, I don't know if that does anything. Like, I don't know if that's, like, I think it's just a graphic. I don't think you click on it if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. I don't think it does anything. It's just kind of fun. Like and subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get us closer to 1,000 subscribers. It's going to be awesome when we get to 1,000. In what way will it be awesome? We haven't decided yet, but it's going to be awesome when we get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers. So get us one step closer today. Slam that subscribe button over on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. We are with you until 6 o'clock. We will hand it off to the Royals Baseball Network. Royals and Yankees, game 3 of a 3-game series. Royals still looking for the first win over the Yanks since game 2 of the 2024 ALDS. They'll try and get it tonight behind Noah Cameron, who has thrown batting practice to the Yankees in 2 career starts against them with an ERA over 10. The Yankees are starting Garrett Cole.
His second start back.
So, prognosis not good, doctor. But that's why they play the games. Pre-game at 6, first pitch at 6:40 from the K tonight. You'll hear it all right here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. Still to come on the program today, we're going to talk Chiefs OTAs. We'll hear tomorrow, we presume, from Andy Reid and others. Tomorrow's the only day that is open to the media for OTAs. So anticipate that we'll hear from Andy Reid. Anticipate that we'll hear from Patrick Mahomes because he is participating. If they both speak, you'll hear it on tomorrow's edition of 580 Sports Talk. But beyond the big question, which has already been answered, which is Mahomes going to be there and is he going to be participating? I guess that's 2 questions, but the answer to both of them was yes. So with the big questions answered, what are the other questions that we'll be curious to have answered from Andy Reid and others as OTAs continue? Phase 2, they call it, of the offseason for the Kansas City Chiefs. We've also got the Wildcat Wrap-Up bottom of this hour with Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com. Wildcat Wrap-Up sponsored by Tallgrass Windows and Doors. We asked this question and had this conversation with Michael Swain, Fitz's 24/7 sports counterpart at fog.net on yesterday's show. Be curious to ask Fitz, especially in the aftermath of what was broadly a disappointing year, and that might be underselling it in some cases, for Kansas State athletics as a whole. What is the bar? What is the expectation, the reasonable expectation for success for Kansas State athletics, for the non-revenue sports at Kansas State? And what, if anything, can be learned or needs to be learned from the annus horribilis? You speak Latin, right?
No, I took Latin in high school, but that's
what I meant.
That was 10, 11 years ago.
You know what I mean when I say annus horribilis, right? I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. That would be a horrible year.
Yeah, I didn't
right?
know that.
It's one of those where it's like, oh yeah, the Latin kind of sounds similar to the English there. There's enough proximity. Anyhow, it was not a good year for Kansas State athletics. We'll just say it in English. So what can be learned from this last year of disappointment in Manhattan? Tim Fitzgerald coming up bottom of this hour. We got What Is Wrong With You? We still got sports headlines, playoff roundup, one got to go. All
it's the short week finale.
It is the short week finale. So we're crowning a weekly champion today. And then you guys, you and Brendan are going to be the panel for our semifinals and our championship. I am taking a couple of days off. I will be off tomorrow. I will be off on Friday. Brendan and Spencer will have the show. So you guys are going to pick our May winner. We've got one more weekly champion to pick today. Then, of course, last week's champion was Wade Mode. Shout out to Wade Mode. That was really strong.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed
you and your Wade joke.
I really enjoyed Wade Mode. The guy who couldn't stop stealing from Walgreens. And I'm trying to double back here. The
'cause
No, that's the wrong thing. Anyway, you'll just have to trust me when I tell you that we'll have some good stories coming up on the program. I'll have to go back and look and find out, try and remember who won our short week back on May 1st, because we only had the one-day winner. And I don't think I highlighted it correctly. So I'm going to have to go and figure out who won the couple of weeks here. Anyway, that's all for tomorrow's show. We'll save tomorrow for tomorrow. We want to hear from you. Text line is 785-272-9429. That's 785-272-9429. You can also interact in the live chat on our YouTube stream. Name of the channel is 580 Sports Talk. Again, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. I understand the temptation not to, trust me. So my son's probably a little too into YouTube for somebody who's just about to turn 2. He really likes watching videos of trucks and like fire trucks, garbage trucks, big trucks.
Does he like tractors yet?
Monster trucks. There's a tractor video.
Okay.
So
I was big into tractors when I was a kid.
So
Treaders.
We are not like the parents who are like, screen time is bad. Look, sometimes you got to cook dinner, man. Like, sometimes you got to cook dinner and put dishes away, and you got to keep the kiddo occupied. And sometimes a video or an episode of a show will do nicely. We're not oversaturating the boy, but he does have videos that he likes. And so there are these videos out there that are quite obviously like, I think they are AI narration.
Probably.
And, it's like videos of, here are 20 different trucks. And this is the truck that I am showing you. And then there's like a video of the truck. If any of the video is AI, I immediately shut it off. But there's one channel that does these videos, and like the videos of the trucks, the monster trucks or the planes or the trains are really cool. And Asher really likes those. So it's one channel that I know, but I keep entering the name of the channel when I go search instead of just subscribing to the damn channel. So I understand. Trust me. I understand if you're out there and you've watched our live show and you just seek us out by typing 580 Sports Talk into the search bar every day, or we just come up on your regularly watched. So I understand it's not always like the thing you think to do is go subscribe. So if you're out there and you're like me, go hit that subscribe button. Stop putting it off. We're trying to get to 1,000 here.
I want to know what happened to our 2 subscribers.
I'm sure they were just bots.
I think one was on purpose, though, because we were talking about losing one, and then we lost another one.
That could have just been coincidence.
I don't know about that.
Could have just been coincidence. Anyway, go subscribe to the YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. So, OTAs underway. And the media will get one chance to get a look. That'll be tomorrow. And they'll get a chance to talk to, again, Andy Reid and others. We assume Patrick Mahomes will be among the others. Be surprised if it wasn't. Honestly, everybody's going to want to talk to him. All due respect to anybody else. If Chiefs PR thinks it's cool to just throw, like, Noah Wiley out there. Not Noah Wiley. That's Noah Gray and Jared Wiley. Noah Wiley's the guy on the pit, right? I think that's the guy on the pit.
You were just combining 2 guys that would get cut.
I don't even watch that show. I made it 20 minutes into an episode. You know that you've heard that show, right? The Pit.
Yeah.
That hospital show. It's on HBO Max. I made it 20 minutes into the first episode. They said something about it degloving, and then they showed it, and I said, nope.
Not for me.
Don't need to see that ever again. So I gave up.
That's why I'm not into those medical shows.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm into like fire and police procedurals, but like
the medical ones, you're out.
I just can't do the medical stuff, man.
I'm with you. I'm with you completely. My wife watches Grey's Anatomy and Chicago Med like on her own. Like you can watch those without me. In the odd occasion that you get to watch television while I'm not around, you watch those. I am not interested in watching the medical document. Anyway. Chiefs PR can't throw out Noah Gray like tomorrow and call it good. Like we're going to want to hear from some stars. So I imagine Reid, I imagine Mahomes and others. The big question going into OTAs was about Mahomes, and that question has been answered. He's out there, he's working out, he's doing some light movement. I'm sure it's not like extreme hard drop back. Obviously, this is just phase 2 of OTAs. You're not taking live fire, so to speak. In phase 2, phase 3, there's a little more of that, so they'll be a little bit more choosy about how they deploy Mahomes. I would think once you get to mandatory minicamp, But for OTAs, for phase 2, he's out there. He's working out. That's obviously wonderful news. I am to the point now where I would be more surprised than not if he does not play week 1 of this upcoming NFL season. That he appears to be on track to go and play. At the same time, like Daniel Jones was throwing at Colts OTAs today. He tore his Achilles 6 months ago. So that was one of those you kind of thought was going to cost him an entire season, and maybe it won't. Who knows?
Well, the thing is, like, these surgeries are so advanced now that, like, you can do somewhat normal, somewhat practice-y activities, and you're fine. But, like, you can't actually play a game where somebody could contact you in the leg. Like, say what you say about Aaron Rodgers and that whole crap about him wanting to come back. Like, him being on the practice field just showed what that surgery could do.
Yeah.
That new surgery. And I think that's going to be like a new thing. Is
Jason Tatum was playing in NBA games less than a year out of an Achilles this year.
I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that where like guys are practicing off of injuries, but maybe they don't fully play in a game for 4 weeks.
You combine the advancements in medical technology with like Mahomes being like capital B built, capital D different.
Yes.
And this is what you get. A player with a trajectory that would suggest he's going to play in week 1. So what are other questions that we might have going into OTAs? I got 5. I got 5 questions that I obviously am not going to be part of the media throng at OTAs tomorrow. But these are the things that I will be fascinated, even if these questions aren't asked directly. These are going to be the things that we can start to track starting in OTAs. And obviously we'll get a clearer picture as we get to minicamp, as training camp opens. But this is the stuff we can start to get a glimpse. This is the sprouting of the new season, so to speak. You can kind of start to see the blooms start to bud, if you will. So these are the questions I'm interested in having answered, beginning with the first look at OTAs. Number 1, what is the vision for the secondary? Particularly, who's going to play the slot? Who's going to play the safety spots? What is Shamari Connor's role? Matt Verderam on our show yesterday, our NFL Insider, said that this was, to him, the most interesting storyline of OTAs. How are they going to line up? We presume we know. Mansour Delane on one side, the rookie. Noel Williams, the second-year corner on the other side. The slot last year was the domain of Shamari Connor, and he wasn't very good in that role. But the additions of both Kader Kohu and Jaden Kennedy could allow for more of a deeper role for Connor, a role that we kind of all thought was going to be Jaden Hicks's to lose over time, but Hicks hasn't earned the trust of the coaching staff the same way that Connor has. So is it going to be Connor and Alohi Gilman together? Is it those two and Hicks in some 3 safety looks? We know Steve Spagnuolo loves a 3 safety look every now and again. What is the vision for the secondary? How does that depth shake out? How many reps is a guy like Christian Fulton getting? Is he getting reps to where he's competing for a starting role? Or is he getting reps to where, hey, we're trying to help you get like ease into shape so when you're cut post June 1 to make some salary cap room, we can you got some tape to send off or something like that. So what is the vision for the secondary? That's one question. Second question, what do the roles for the rookie defensive linemen look like? Where is Peter Woods going to line up? How is he going to be used? Is he going to be a flexible sort of player that doesn't just line up as a 3 tech or a 5 tech? Does he line up on the outside? Do we see some of him coming off the edge? R. Mason Thomas, how is he best deployed? Is he bulking up? Is he adding weight to try and hold up as a more traditional Chiefs caliber defensive lineman? Or do the Chiefs want him as is, 240 pounds of speed, and they're going to set him as a wide 9 and tell him on third down, hey, go get the quarterback? What do those roles look like? What's an ideal snap count for those guys? Who are they repping with? How often are they repping? Those two are extremely fascinating to try and add some juice to what has been a pass rush that has lost a lot of juice in recent years. Question number 3, what can the receivers outside the top 3 on the depth chart offer this team? Because we're going to find out, right? Like, wide receiver number 1 is not participating in OTAs.
Yeah.
So right then and there, like, who's the next man up? Is Jalen Royals wide receiver number 4 on the depth chart right now? Is he I would presume that he is. What does Cyrus Allen's role look like? How comfortable are they with getting him some reps? What of Nico Remigio? What of Jason Brownlee? How about the UDFAs that flash? Xavier Lloyd, Jeff Caldwell, guys like that. What are their opportunities going to look like? Where do they line up? How do they envision Jalen Royals' snaps looking? Is he strictly an inside guy? Is Cyrus Allen strictly an inside guy? Are they motion men? Do you have players who are, what is the word I'm looking for here? You have to design touches for them. You have to scheme touches for guys. Yes. Are which of your receivers are that kind of player? Because it's a lot of questions outside the top 3. And even number 1 is a question, obviously, because we know he's not properly rehabbing the knee immediately after his surgery, because there's no way you can do that in the jail cell. So there better be something. There better be something there. Otherwise, the Chiefs are going to have to make a roster move. For the record, I know that maybe some of you saw the news today that George Karlaftis's money was converted to sign. Some of Karlaftis's money was converted to signing bonus. George Karlaftis's contract for this year was converted, and that has freed up some salary cap money. The move that presages is signing the first-round picks. The first-round picks for the Chiefs are not signed yet. Chiefs need to get the deals done with Mansour, Delane, and Peter Woods. Those are obviously your most expensive draft picks. So getting those done and getting those under the cap, that's the reason for the Karlaftis move. I know maybe your first reaction, I'll admit, I had a first thought too, is, well, this is leading to something. You don't do this for no reason. You do this because you need some money. And then I remembered, oh, wait a minute. They got to sign their draft picks, and it's just the 2 first-rounders that aren't signed yet. Everybody else is signed. So,
I did read that it's like $4.44 million would be left over after the signing of them. So I don't know if you combine that with a post-June 1 cut at somebody and you get...
Oh, you definitely can. Like, you're comfortably under the cap at that point.
What you need to do headed into training camp.
Right. It gives you some...
Because you never know what happens.
Exactly. Gives you some future flexibility, which you need. But
I have a big question that looms over this team.
Let me get my last 2, and we'll get to yours. I was going to ask for yours, Spencer. I'm not leaving you out, I promise. My other 2 questions. Number 1, number 4, how far along is Omar Norman-Lott? This is the ACL injury on the other side of the football that I think is really interesting, because if Omar Norman-Lott can come back, and I thought there were some flashes in the first 6 games of last year before he tore his knee. I think that his addition to that interior group that includes Woods and includes Khyiris Tonga and obviously includes Chris Jones gives that position, interior defensive line, upside that it has not had, depth that it has not had for a couple of seasons. But how far along is he? Is he going to be ready to go week 1? How is his rehab progressing? Obviously, he got injured a lot earlier than Mahomes did, but he's not built like Mahomes, and his body's different than Mahomes' body. So how far along is Omar Norman-Lott? What are the expectations for him? And then the last big question is, does this roster have enough? And I would love to give Andy Reid some truth serum and ask him, do you think this roster has enough? Is it a championship caliber roster as is? Or do they need, and I think we all sort of feel like the answer to that question is yes, but I'd love to hear Andy Reid address that question. And I'm sure if he were asked a question like that, that's a question for Brett Veach. But do you have enough? Mahomes is going to be there week 1. We now feel like that is almost the expectation and not the hope at this point. So you've got that guy. You go into any season with that guy believing you can win a championship. Is the rest of the roster up to snuff? Are you better now than you were? Do you have all of the pieces that you need? And again, I suspect that you listening on the other end of this feel like the answer is no. I feel like the answer is no. Spencer, you feel like the answer is no?
Yeah, I know.
Yes. Yeah. So I would just like to hear Andy Reid answer that question. And I know we'd never get an honest answer from him, but I'd love to hear his answer. I'd love to hear what he really thought as far as that goes. What is your big question, if you've got one for as OTAs begin?
I've got a couple. One on the offense, one on the defense, and then one on the offense that is this is a until final 53 cut question, but obviously it starts here at OTAs. I'll save that for last. My first one is on defense. Who fills that other linebacker role, that fourth linebacker role?
Third linebacker
role. Is it like, who's the guy? Like, cause I think Jeffrey Boss is going to get a chance to be that one, like a second string backup guy, but who's the other guy going to be? Is it going to be Cooper McDonald, Jack Cochran, or is it going to be somebody younger?
They seem to really like Cooper McDonald.
Yeah.
And I would think he's got the inside track because he's got the combination of like athleticism and size and instincts where like you like maybe Cochran's instincts, but he's maybe not as athletic. You like Boss's athleticism, but maybe not like his physical size. He might be a little too small to hold up as a down-to-down linebacker. McDonald's maybe that guy in between that offers you the best of both worlds. But I do think that's a big deal because Leo Chanel last year played like 42% of the defensive snaps, a little over 42% of the defensive snaps. That's not insignificant. Like those 440 snaps got to go to somebody who's going to be able to make some plays. And yeah, I don't know who that is going to be. That's a good question. What's your next one?
Who are we going to see? Obviously, the tackle spot is still a question. At least Jalen Moore, is he locked that down? And who's going to be the swing tackle? Is it going to be Esepole?
I would imagine it would be Pole.
We haven't seen a lot of him on tape, right? So we don't really know what it looks like. So I think that's a big question. And my overall question for the offense that will be from here until the 53-man roster cut, obviously some of it has to do with Patrick Mahomes' health going into week one and their thoughts on how things would work. But is Garrett Nussmeier going to be the third quarterback on the roster in a way that it has to, where they haven't had a third on the roster, they just had Chris Oladokun on the practice squad, and that changes that spot. Like that is a spot on the 53-man roster is a coveted spot. A lot of teams now are shifting to the 3-man quarterback role, but if they is he going to impress so much during training camp and preseason
that he justifies a roster spot?
He has to have a roster spot or else he's going to get poached. And I think that's a big question because you have a guy that has upside, but obviously you drafted him late in the draft. He wasn't a UDFA. He was a big name in college. Could have gone. He had a chance early, to go higher. His name is, you recognize his name is a recognizable quarterback name. So I think going into the offseason, like going into the season, is he going to steal a roster spot that they need to keep the roster spot? Are they confident in Oladokun to be that third guy, or is Nussmeier just going to be too good for them to cut?
That is interesting. You would imagine he would get more reps than your typical QB3 at these OTAs in particular and at minicamp as Mahomes has eased back. But yeah, is that worth a roster spot for them, or would they rather have like a special teamer roster spot, a fourth running back, a returner only sort of player? That is an interesting one to watch. And again, we're only going to start scratching the surface when it comes to OTAs and answering these questions. We're going to take a time out here on 580 Sports Talk. When we come back, we've got What Is Wrong With You, going to crown a short week champion. Then Tim Fitzgerald to GoPowerCat.com will join us for the Wildcat Wrap-Up, sponsored by Tallgrass Windows and Doors. Stay with us on 580 Sports Talk. It is What Is Wrong With You time on 580 Sports Talk. We got two brand new stories competing today to try and be our weekly champion on this short week, but they got to take down yesterday's winner, the Biscuit Bandit, gentleman who broke into a North Carolina Popeyes at 5 a.m., cooked shrimp, biscuits, and fries, and then took it with him, along with some other items. Just made himself a feast. He was Louisiana fast getting out of there. I'll tell you what, because they haven't found him yet. But, the Biscuit Bandit. Man, what an idea for a heist. Like, man, I am craving some fast food. I love this place. I'm going to make it myself. And then
the real question is, did he, know how to do it? Like,
was he a previous employee?
Yeah. Because, I feel like if I myself just walked into, a fast food kitchen, I wouldn't necessarily know how to turn things on. Because I've never worked in a commercial kitchen before.
No, that's true. That's true. It does suggest somebody with a passing familiarity of a commercial fast food kitchen.
Commercial kitchen, yeah.
Yeah, it does. You're absolutely right about that. But anyway, the Biscuit Bandit is our current champion. I will go first today. We're going to San Antonio, Texas, where 3 people were arrested last month at a Home Depot after allegedly stealing more than $1,000 worth of items in an organized crime scheme. And all 3 face forgery charges. You may say, wait a minute, forgery charges. Well, we'll get there.
And this is the second Home Depot story we've had in a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely our second one of the year. Employees reported the incident after a repeat theft offender walked out of the store with high-valued store merchandise. An SAPD arrested 37-year-old Maria Elena Guevara in the Home Depot parking lot. Guevara told police she came to the store with other men and had a receipt for the items in the cart. She led authorities to a truck where 55-year-old Rogelio Saldana and 52-year-old Roland Saldana were taken into custody. Inside the truck, SAPD said they found a printer plugged into an outlet, plugging in receipts and printing receipts. And the receipt had visible typos and a stamp that read, completed April 27th, 2026. The receipt was shown to Home Depot's loss prevention team and confirmed to be fake, citing typos and an incorrect barcode. You can't have typos on your fake receipt. That's like when they buy the counterfeit Super Bowl tickets on The Simpsons. Well, first of all, there's no such team as the Spungos. First of all, Hammer has 2 M's. Got to be careful with those typos. Guevara's purse was later searched by police. Officers found more receipts with typos and barcode errors. Value of the stolen goods was $1,051.80. All 3 individuals faced multiple state jail felony charges. Your story, Spencer.
Yeah, we're going to Florida. A West Palm Beach man allegedly broke into a Lake Park store to steal Pokemon cards using a chainsaw. According to an arrest report from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, Clayton Warren, 33, was arrested and charged with burglary and grand theft after the owner of Collection Realm in Lake Park contacted the Sheriff's Office on May 21st to report an overnight break-in. Surveillance video showed a man using a battery-powered chainsaw to cut a triangle in the hurricane-proof front door. In the process, blood was left behind.
Oh, no.
Warren initially attempted to break the window with a rock. After watching surveillance video, the owner estimated that $12,000 worth of Pokemon cards were taken, both sleeved cards and bulk bonus cards. I don't know what that means. Surveillance also showed the man matching Warren's appearance had been in the store on May 19th. Investigators used a license plate reader to locate his vehicle, which was captured on surveillance cameras and found as registered to a West Palm Beach address. A search warrant was provided, and Warren was arrested at his home. He's charged with burglary of an unoccupied structure, grand theft greater than 10 grand, but less than 20. Apparently, these similar heists have been going on across the country recently.
So, yeah, those things are expensive. They're in demand. And he was willing to cut through a hurricane-proof window and cut himself in the process.
Yeah.
To get
with a freaking chainsaw, man.
Look, when they say you got to catch them all, they mean it.
Yeah.
Who wins today? I'm going to go with the fake receipt. That's very funny to me.
Yeah. Something about a chainsaw, though, man. Let me use a chainsaw to break down a glass.
That is definitely extreme. Do either of these stories beat the Biscuit Bandit?
No.
Okay, then we'll just go with we'll we'll call it a tie today. We'll give the Biscuit Bandit the nod into tomorrow's May semifinals on What Is Wrong With You. Tim Fitzgerald joins us next. We are joined on the Flaming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline by Tim Fitzgerald, publisher of GoPowerCat.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. He joins us every Wednesday at this time for the Wildcat Wrap-Up, sponsored by Tallgrass Windows and Doors, who provide high-quality products at affordable prices. You can check out their showrooms in either Wamego or Lawrence, or visit them online at tallgrasswindows.com. Excellence without exception. That's Tallgrass Windows and Doors. Fitz, the athletic year at Kansas State University is over with. Was that the most disappointing, frustrating, least fun athletic year at Kansas State in recent memory?
Yeah. And you know what? You're measured against expectations. And that's the reality of business, sports, anything. I think we all thought football would be better than 6-6. I know Chris Kleiman did. We thought basketball wouldn't be good, but that bad? No, not when you spend that kind of money on a roster. And baseball started off promising, then just absolutely collapsed at the end, and pitching was not good. Yeah, it was. There were some other bright spots. Indoor track in particular, is turning into a real interesting sport for Kansas State. They're doing an incredible job with the track program. So, but yeah, overall in the main spectator sports, ouch. And I think most people need a little summer refresh, but there's a great deal of excitement about Colin Klein and what's going to come with football season. People are going to take a little break and then come back refreshed.
One of my favorite lines in the movie Burn After Reading is at the very end when J.K. Simmons' character is asking, well, what did we learn? And he says, well, I guess we learned not to do it again. Or whatever it was. They learned not to do it again. Obviously, it's hard to really pull at a common thread because revenue sports and non-revenue sports are different, and every sport is indeed different. But what do you learn? What do you hope that the athletic department can take away from a program-wide disappointment like 2025-26 at Kansas State? What can be learned? What can be improved upon as far as the process of building a program and trying to build a successful across all sports program?
That's a great question. There's some aspect to this, certainly with football, of just, not getting breaks, and it didn't go as planned because the other team's trying too. Basketball was just poorly managed, and we know why that was a disaster. But the reality of college sports now is the entire way you assemble teams has changed, and K-State needs to find the proper way it can do that. And I think it's a better balance maybe between the two. I think football was a little too cautious for spending NIL money outside of the current roster, and basketball was reckless. And somewhere in between is probably the sweet spot. Although Casey Alexander's taking a very conservative approach with NIL. He doesn't have the money Jerome Tang did, but he's not interested in the money Jerome Tang did. He doesn't want those players that are coming just for the money. You have to find what works for Kansas State. And generally what works for Kansas State are guys that are heavily invested in the program while also being great athletes. And you can go through the history and see that. NIL's changed a lot of that. It's a business opportunity for a lot of young athletes. And the buy-in probably isn't as significant, but that's not how Kansas State has ever succeeded. And they need to make sure that the student athletes are well connected to the community, the student body, and interested in competing for Kansas State, not a paycheck.
Tim Fitzgerald is our guest, our publisher at GoPowerCat.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. This is the Wildcat Wrap-Up, sponsored by Tallgrass Windows and Doors on 580 Sports Talk. Big picture, post-house, current state of affairs in college athletics. What is the bar for Kansas State that you feel like, as an athletic department, it is capable of reaching? What should be the athletic department-wide expectation? Is it possible to have an athletic department that is competitive year-round on a perennial basis in the Big 12, in not just the revenue sports, but across all sports? Or is that an uphill battle where Gene Taylor and whoever succeeds Gene Taylor on down the line, and whoever's the AD 5, 10, 20, 15 years, 5, 10, 20, 50 years from now, what is going to have to be prioritized to make sure that the program, the athletic department, is as good as it can reasonably be?
Well, in some ways, what we would call the non-revenue sports, the ones that don't have big TV deals, it's kind of business as usual. The exception being, I think departments now are actually running businesses. And it's taking a while for a lot of athletic leadership around the country to realize they cannot continue to lose money. Now, Kansas State's done a very good job over a number of years of being fiscally responsible. But you also can't be too conservative with it. You have to be able to invest in your teams in a way that we've never seen before. I am worried about schools such as Kansas State, as this arms race has escalated exponentially every year. And it wasn't too long ago that we were talking about Nigel Pack getting $100K, and we thought that was insane. That doesn't get you anything now, in terms of a quality basketball or football player. And we're seeing players get, we freaked out about $1 million, $5, $7 million for one season. K-State and many other power level institutions cannot keep up with that. And as it continues to escalate, we'll see more and more programs just not able to keep up. And here's why it's different. In the past, you could compete without the big budget because you could go get players, keep players, and, build into something by retaining those players. Now, if you're going to be good the next year, they can just swoop in, and by they, I mean the very wealthy programs, and buy your roster. That's how it's changed. It's now so money-driven that it's going to destroy some athletic departments. And in turn, some athletic departments are going to do really fiscally unwise things that will cause, financial trauma to their institutions. There's going to be a reckoning for college sports and where it fits into the greater university picture, and for state-funded universities where they fit into the state budget, because the days of losing money are over at the same time that you need more and more money to compete. It's craziness, and it's a powder keg.
What's your perspective on proposed congressional intervention? The SCORE Act died on the vine, but the same group of senators who came up with the SCORE Act have put forth another legislation today, the Protect College Sports Act. And I don't know how much you've gotten to dive in on the particulars of that, but just generally speaking, as far as the idea of congressional intervention to provide an antitrust exemption to the NCAA, do you think that is in the best interest of college sports and in the best interest of the Big 12, programs in the Big 12 like Kansas State?
It is, but with guardrails. SCORE Act died because it only addressed the needs of the institution and athletic departments. We arrived at this point because the NCAA has long ignored the needs and rights of student athletes. The idea that a kid signing a scholarship agreement would forfeit use of his own name and image and likeness to make money? How is that ever feasible? And how was that not challenged a lot earlier than it was with this House settlement? I'll just say this. No legislation is going to get through until they start recognizing the rights of these student athletes. And I think it's kind of funny in a way that they have long ignored that and only worried about their needs and wants. And now it's coming back to bite them in athletic departments because the escalation for NIL money is just so incredible. So if you want to help things out, you're going to have to come to the realization you need to give the athletes a voice. And I don't know if that means unionization or collective bargaining, but you can't just continue to peddle ideas that serve your interests and ignore theirs. I haven't looked at the new legislation, but I would imagine it doesn't go far enough, and I'd imagine it won't go anywhere. And until they understand that what the NCAA was doing was completely unacceptable, and it should have been unacceptable long ago, you're not going back to it. It's out of the genie's out. It's not going back in the bottle. So now you got to figure out how to balance out the financial realities of an athletic department being a nonprofit entity and the rights of student athletes to be able to profit from their name, image, and likeness. And let's be honest, because there's no real rules in place, this isn't NIL. They're just getting flat out paid above the table instead of below, which was going on for many years in college athletics.
Couple more minutes with Tim Fitzgerald to GoPowerCat.com. This is the Wildcat Wrap-Up presented by Tallgrass Windows and Doors here on 580 Sports Talk. Your Cole Carmody at GoPowerCat.com is keeping track of official visits for the football program for recruits for the class of 2027. And there's a big number. This coaching staff's getting a lot of players in-house, getting players to Manhattan for these official visits. What does that say to you about the recruiting efforts of this staff? And do you believe that that's a positive sign for not just maybe the 2027 class, but broader recruiting momentum, the ability to get this many kids in one class to come and see your campus and your facilities to see what you're about?
Kansas State's done football recruiting in particular a little bit differently, and it was the reflection of the conservative nature of Bill Snyder and Chris Kleiman. A scholarship offer in general was a scholarship offer. That's not true across college sports. It's always bothered me, but the NCAA hasn't touched it. Most scholarship offers aren't actionable. You offer me a scholarship, I should be able to commit to that scholarship, but no, I'm fourth on your list, and you got to hear no from the first three before it's actionable. I'm not comfortable with that, but that's how it's done, and that's what they're doing now. They're putting a lot of scholarship offers out there, and in turn, they're having a great deal of success of convincing people families to come to Manhattan to take a look. Now, we've heard from coaches at a number of programs at K-State that once you get them to campus and get them to town, your success rate goes way up because they kind of fall in love with the place, and they understand the passion fans have for their university. So getting this many athletes to K-State and really high-level athletes bodes well for football. They're being very aggressive in recruiting at a level we've never seen before. We've never covered it this intensely because it is It's incredible what's happening right now. And also, let's be really honest here. Bill Snyder's staff's got old, and so did Chris Kleiman. This is a young, aggressive staff that is more adept at recruiting and the energy you need to bring to it and can relate to the student athletes a little bit better. And that seems to be really important for this generation more than others. And I think they're using that to great success.
Tim Fitzgerald is the publisher of GoPowerCat.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network, and he joins us every Wednesday for the Wildcat Wrap-Up, sponsored by Tallgrass Windows and Doors, who provide high-quality products at affordable prices. You can check out their showrooms in either Wamego or Lawrence, or visit them online at tallgrasswindows.com. Excellence without exception. That's Tallgrass Windows and Doors. Fitz, always appreciate your time. We'll do it again next week.
Thank you, my friend.
That is Tim Fitzgerald. We'll take a timeout, come back, and wrap up this 4 o'clock hour, 580 Sports Talk. .456 on 580 Sports Talk of the program. Our thanks again to Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com for joining us. He mentioned it. Recruiting is different for football at K-State than it's really ever been, because Bill Snyder was old school about it. Chris Kleiman was old school about it. And Colin Klein's not going to be as old school about it. And you're going to get a lot more players who are on watch lists. You're going to get a lot more players who get offers. You're going to get a lot more players who take official visits. And the coverage just ramped up accordingly of football recruiting over at GoPowerCat.com. If you're a VIP subscriber to 24/7 Sports, you get access to all of it. So that is maybe your sign today to become a subscriber.
I know Coach Klein is obviously, played at K-State and, worked under the staff at Kleiman at K-State, but I think this is generally what a younger coach, it seems to be the way younger coaches work.
Yes, it's a brand new perspective.
Yes.
And it's a perspective that, we haven't really seen Kansas State football look like this. And look, it worked under, not criticizing Bill Snyder's style, because obviously that worked, and not criticizing Chris Kleiman's style, because that worked too. But it's 2026. And you've got to evolve a little bit with the times, and younger people in any industry are going to be a little more apt to do the kind of evolving that you need to do. So it's fascinating to be keeping track of this stuff. Coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, we've got our 580 Sports Talk headlines, including a playoff roundup. We'll play a round of one gotta go. We'll look ahead to Royals-Yankees Game 3 tonight on 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Third and final hour on this Wednesday of 580 Sports Talk on the sports voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. So nice to be with you. I'm Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis across the glass. With you for one more hour, then we'll pass the baton to the Royals Baseball Network. Royals Yankees, game 3 of the 3-game series at the K. Royals try to salvage a 500 last week of games. No salvaging the homestand. They got swept to start it. Also trying to win a game off the Yankees for the first time since the 2024 postseason. Still searching after last night's 15-1 humiliation. First pitch at 6:40. Which means pregame at 6 o'clock, right here on the sports voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. Still to come on this final hour of the show, we've got our 580 Sports Talk headlines. Lots to cover in the headlines today. We'll play a round of One Gotta Go. We'll preview Royals-Yankees Game 3 tonight. Unfortunately, it's not quite as lopsided a pitching matchup as last night's on paper, but it's close. It is not Cam Schlittler versus Bailey Falter levels of lopsided, but unfortunately, it is also not that far off. We'll get to all of that coming up in this final hour. Want to hear from you today on the show. Text lines open, 785-272-9429. That is 785-272-9429. You've also got the YouTube live chat where you can interact with not just your host, but each other. Little chat room that we offer during the show. All you got to do to take part is to watch our YouTube stream. 580 Sports Talk is the name of the channel. Go subscribe to the channel today if you have not done so, and hop in and say hello to your fellow listeners and grow the 580 Sports Talk community.
Back to 22 away.
Good. Yes, we did add a subscriber today. Were you a big chat room, message board user at any point? Poster, active like poster on anything like that?
No, I can't say I was. I was at the very, very, very end of the AOL Instant Messenger AIM days, the very, very end. Like when I was starting to use the internet per se.
That was like the end of, that's wild to think that was the end of that.
Yes,
that
like
was
the end of
like high school and college. Like AOL, that was it, man.
That was like 5th, 6th grade. Probably shouldn't have been on the internet using it, but like definitely did.
No, man. Instant Messenger. That was how you knew, like, you know, what everybody was hanging out with, and also like their favorite song lyric at the time, because the away message was always the song lyric, and or like your favorite sports team's like record at the time, if you were one of those. But
I was in I'm also in the generation that like wasn't supposed to have Facebook, but had Facebook, you know, because like everybody was like trying to interact with other people.
I guess
away from
everything's a chat room and a message board now, and you don't have to like sit down to go to it because it's in your pocket on your phone now.
What I think cool, one thing that's really cool, I think that I will say, like, I like it personally, kind of a chat room, but not really. It just gives you the information. Is you can on Instagram, you can join like not influencers, but like teams or like musical artists. It's like a chat, but all it does is just send, like, you can't type in it, but it just sends you out when stuff is happening. Like, oh, this person announced a tour, or oh, this team is doing this. I don't remember what the exact word is, but like on Instagram, it's really nice because then you don't have to like go searching. You just get a notification every whatever time your artist puts out new music or teams putting out new content, stuff like that.
I was never, or I am no longer like social media, you know, Facebook, then it was Twitter for a long time. Now, you know, it's X, and there's Blue Sky, which I use more personally than for work. That's more personal for me because a lot of people I know are on that particular network. And so I interact with more people I know over there than I might have interacted with on X, where that was a community At one time was a lot of people I knew and is now less so.
I don't know. From
my...
everything I heard about you, you always getting hate on it on the old Twitter, right? Like people were like, you were telling me a story, the first Big 12 tournament. You were telling, remember?
Oh,
you had people emailing you or something like.
Yes.
So like, you got a lot of haters.
I did have a bad experience on Twitter once when I said that I did not particularly care for Iowa State basketball. And I said it in a less nice way than that. But also, like, I didn't, like, I wasn't profane. I didn't wish death on anybody, but you would have thought I had. So, yeah. So
they came at you.
Yes, they did. Well, one of them found my personal email. I mean, my work email address. So there were many things. There are many reasons why, like, for personal reasons, I no longer use the website now known as X. Like, I got my reasons. And it's not really.
I want to use it less and less every day.
Broadly speaking, though, like that's what I sort of use. Like I don't go to. I'm not a participant. Like I'll check them out because I like to know what fans are talking about. But I don't go into like the comments on Arrowhead Pride or the message board at GoPowerCat or Fog.net. I understand that like there are communities there, but I was deep on the message boards of D3 football and D3 hoops back in my college days, repping for my alma mater.
Yeah, let's say you and your D3 team.
I was heavy into D3football.com message board, trash talking Wabash fans. Like I was deep in it. I don't know if those archives exist. I hope to God they do not. But yeah, like that was my peak message board. Also, the Sports Illustrated for Kids message boards on. Oh my God, this is going to date me. You have no idea what this is. It's called Prodigy. It was an online service. It was basically a competitor to AOL before AOL blew everybody else out of the water. But on Prodigy, when I was a kid, I was like 7, 8 years old. That was what we had. That was our internet service where you'd like log in and you check baseball scores or whatever. And I was on the Sports Illustrated for Kids message boards, and I got in trouble once. So my parents saw that I had told a kid that Bobby Bonilla sucked. And that wasn't a nice thing to say. Even if it might have been true at the time. This was the mid-90s. Bobby Bonilla was past his best at that point. But I said, Bobby Bonilla sucks. And I was not allowed to use the computer for a week. At least that long. Let me see. Yeah, Bobby Bo was still okay in 96 and 97. I was probably being mean.
I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, you were not born the last time Bobby Bonilla was an all-star. He's still getting paid by the Mets, though. You know that.
Yeah, we're coming up, was it July 1st? Mm-hmm. We're a month from Monday.
So that's my message board story. At a young age, I was not, I learned that maybe being on a message board did not bring out the best in me. And so broadly, I've tried to avoid it. But shout out to those people who do not, because you do provide some tremendous entertainment. You know what else is
real quick, my favorite part about all, like when Brendan is here, all three of us, is like you had your generation. Brendan was at like the bitter end of your generation, and I like the stuff I was when I was growing up, he was like doing already. Stuff like just the bridge from you to me.
Yeah, it does. It feels we're not that far apart in age, but it still feels like a generation gap because that's how fast things moved in the 90s and the 2000s. Anyway, speaking of entertainment, Boots and Bow Ties is coming to the Topeka Zoo, presented by Noller Auto Group. And that's coming up Friday, June 5th from 6 to 10 p.m. So pull on your boots, grab your best skirt or bow tie for one of the most unique nights of the year. There'll be live music with Dallas Pryor and the Lazy Wayne Band, a mechanical bull, and there will be prizes for best boots, best hat, and best Western look. We've got a pair of tickets to give away to that event. Be listening this hour for your cue to call and win. Let's get to some headlines, shall we? Let's do our 580 sports talk. Are they? I think people enjoy hearing us banter. I like to think that there's a bit of enjoyment of our personality.
I do too. I just saw a tweet, an X post earlier about a station in Kansas City not talking about the Royals and saying something else, and that's the point where they got. And I just figured we'd stick to what we should talk about on the show.
We'll talk about what we want to talk about. We'll entertain ourselves, and in the process,
wasn't about us, obviously,
right?
But like it was just Yeah.
My thought is, if we're entertained, the listeners will be too. As long as we don't turn it inside joke theater, which is not fun for anybody. If we're entertained, you'll be entertained. I like to believe that that's true. But let's get into our 580 Sports Talk headlines. We'll start with a state tournament update from high school sports. We'll start on the Diamond, where last night Washburn Rural blanked Manhattan 9-0 to advance to the 6A semifinals. Those will be held tomorrow night. Action from earlier today. Rossville dropped a 6-2 decision to Hayes TMP in the 2-1A semifinals. So Rossville will play in the third place game on Friday. They're also going to extra innings between Silver Lake and Russell Victoria. The Eagles haven't gotten the bats going. They have scored just 2 runs in 14 innings, but they've only allowed 1 run. So they're tied at 1 with Russell Victoria after 7 innings. And we'll play extras at Toynton Family Stadium in that 3A baseball semifinal. Earlier today in the softball 3A semifinals, Silver Lake moving on to the championship game. They doubled up Haven 12-6. They'll play southeast of Saline for all the marbles after Jeff West fell to the southeast of Saline team 2-1 in the other 3A semifinal today. There will be some other local action that we'll keep track of as the week goes on, but that's an update since we last talked as far as how the local teams are doing in the bat and ball sports. Girls soccer, these games are tonight. I double and triple check. The semifinals in 6A and 4-1A. Hayden and Bishop Miege playing right now at Hayden. And I will put out the same call that I did yesterday when I thought the game was happening and it wasn't. But if anybody's got a score of Hayden girls soccer versus Bishop Miege in the 4-1A semifinals at Hayden, text the show and let us know. 785-272-9429. Or you can post in the live chat on YouTube at 580 Sports Talk. But we'd love to know a score. Score updates are hard to come by on social media these days, and that can be frustrating. But if somebody out there is watching, it looks like last update from social media I can find, the game was tied at halftime at 1. So it was 1 apiece at the intermission. So they're well into the second half by now. Might be getting close to wrapped up in regulation, but do not have a final score, and would love to find one. If you're out there and you know the final score of that game between Hayden and Bishop Miege, text us 785-272-9429. Also tonight, 6A semifinal, defending state champion Washburn Rural taking on Mill Valley on the road. State golf, boys golf, wrapping up today. It was a tough showing for the Shawnee County. Only 5 golfers made it to day number 2, or made the cut, if you will. Among those who did were at the 6A level. Higgins Hawks just missed out on a medal. He tied for 22nd at 9 over par for the 2 days. Looks like they had a tie for first. I don't know who won the playoff. Manhattan's Charlie Haney was tied with Drew Kristen of Blue Valley North for the individual lead in 6A, and I don't know how that playoff looks like. Kristen won in the playoffs. So he was the overall state champion. Shawnee Mission East, the team champion in Class 6A. Down at Class 2A, if I can get it to fire up here, Chase Hastert of Care Paravel was a medalist, finishing 17th with a 2-day score of 22 over par. Caleb Cleverton was the state runner-up for Care Paravel in Class 2A out at Quail Ridge. He shot a 2-day total of 5 over par, 5 strokes back of Humboldt's Connor Newman, who was even par for the 2 days. Salina Sacred Heart, your state champions as a team in Class 2A. Also, Jack Donovan, a state medalist as well. He finished 5th overall, the outstanding senior from Rossville, finishing 11 over for the 2 days. Bettered his score today, shot a 79 yesterday, 76 today. So Jack Donovan, 5th in the state in Class 2A. I think that's it for the medalists there. I'm double checking, and it is. So that's your look I'll check 5A. I know Emporia had a player make the cut. Chesney Urkel, he finished 6th overall in Class 5A, 6th individually with a total of +6 for the event. 5 shots back of Goddard's Cohen Musowski. I apologize if I'm getting that one wrong. St. James Academy, your 5A boys golf state champion. So that's your high school state tournament update. Spencer, you've got some start times and network information for KU K-State football.
Yes, it's the favorite day of the year for college football fans because then they can scrutinize what time their teams kick off in the first couple of weeks of the season. I don't know if you saw Arkansas AD
Hunter Yurachek.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not happy.
He's not happy. But I don't know if Kansas State fans will be happy with the news a couple weeks ago about the lights being installed. But they start the season against Nicholls State September 5th. It's a 6 p.m. kickoff, going to be on ESPN Plus. Maybe at the end of that game, it'll be dark enough for them to do something with the lights. I'm not too sure.
Should be.
Yeah, it'll be 9 something, right? So
yeah.
Week 2, they're again at home. They got 3 straight games at home to start the season against Washington State. That'll be an 11 a.m. kickoff on TNT or streaming on HBO Max. And then September 19th, hosting Tulane to wrap up non-con play, 11 a.m. on ESPN2. Also, the October 24th game at Arizona State does not have a time yet, but is going to be on an ESPN network. It will be announced at a later date, whatever that means.
I love Washington State and K-State getting the TNT game there. That's a network that a lot of people around the Big 12 were really pleased with their coverage. And look,
they care about football.
Yes, K-State and Washington State. That will be a game that I think has good for a week 2 game, a non-conference game that is not like a marquee brand like a Michigan, Ohio State, like that kind of a program. I think K-State, Washington State is going to do a good viewership number because those are fan bases that watch their teams on television. So intrigued to see TNT get that one. But yeah,
I think week 3 will do good as well. Tulane's a solid team.
They're in a major media market, but I don't know how many people in New Orleans are really watching college football. That is an LSU, right? Yeah. So I am happy that at least one game this year will be a night game because we joked about it, right? When the schedule came out, when the news about the LED lights came out, I was like, yeah, watch, we'll get nothing but 11 o'clock kickoffs all year.
It just sucks that it's the first game of the year and it's going to be light. Like, I think
there will be a good crowd. That is Colin Klein's first game as the head coach. They will pack the bill for Nicholls.
I'm just talking about for the light, the new lighting. Like, I feel like most teams, it's the big thing to do a third quarter into the end of the third quarter into the fourth quarter, have a tradition, and it's probably still going to be kind of light out when that third quarter goes into fourth quarter if they're trying to start a tradition that game. Moving on to Kansas, they're going to kick off their 135th season Friday, September 4th at 7 p.m. That game will be on ESPNU against Long Island at home. That is interesting to me because I thought it'd be an ESPN Plus game.
We didn't realize it was a Friday game. That was news to us that it was going to be a Friday game.
Yeah. The following week, the Jayhawks will host rival Missouri for the, as they want you to call it, the Storage Mart Border Showdown or the Border War.
Yeah, it's called the Border War. It's fine.
That game,
Storage Mart's not paying you.
That game also on Friday, 7 p.m. Central on Fox, September 11th. And then Jayhawks will play their first ever college football game at Wembley Stadium in the Union Jack Classic on September 19th at 11 a.m. That game on FS1.
There's supposed to be some other news about that Union Jack Classic that is coming soon. Exciting news. We've been promised exciting news about the Union Jack Classic coming soon.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means. Next headline from the Athletics, Evan Drellick, the MLBPA, the Players Association of Major League Baseball, the union, the Players Union, proposed a minimum salary of $1.5 million starting in 2027 in their opening economic proposal to owners, along with significant increases to revenue sharing. The owners will make a counter proposal tomorrow as the first salvos are fired in what is expected to be a contentious negotiation over the next collective bargaining agreement. Among the key components proposed by the MLBPA per a press release, significant increases to 40-man minimum salaries, an expanded pre-arb performance bonus program distributing more dollars to more players. Also, an expansion of arbitration eligibility, enhanced compensation and contract guarantees for players in arbitration, an expansion of rules aimed at combating service time manipulation, the elimination of the qualifying offer, as well as penalties for clubs that sign free agents. If you're not familiar, some players or free agents are subject to the qualifying offer. If you are about to leave the free agent, a team can make you an offer that is at a dollar value that is set by the league at the end of the season. And a player can either take that qualifying offer 1 year and come back and play. It's almost like a franchise tag in a way, except it doesn't fluctuate by position. You take it or leave it and go hit free agency. But if you turn down the qualifying offer, then whatever team signs you forfeits a draft pick. And you, losing the free agent, you get a compensatory draft pick. So they want to get rid of the qualifying offer. They want to get rid of penalties for clubs that sign free agents, increase benefits for lower revenue clubs who lose players to free agency, qualified free agency for players with 5 or more years of service who have reached the age of 30. Right now, the benchmark for free agency is 6 years of service time. Luxury tax threshold increases and removal of non-monetary penalties. A new competitive integrity tax applying to clubs that fail to meet minimum payroll benchmarks. Looking at you, Rays, Marlins, Pirates. And an expanded draft lottery to further disincentivize tanking. Additional proposals designed to improve competition while also supporting lower revenue clubs include increased revenue sharing that initially guarantees every small market club a minimum of $240 million in revenue every season, subject to requirements that funds be used to compete on the field. Beyond that guarantee, clubs will be able to keep more of the stadium-related revenue they generate. Tens of millions in extra revenue sharing will go to low-revenue clubs who either qualify for the playoffs or have a winning record. So there's a reward for being a small market team that succeeds. And significantly increased sharing of local media revenues from high to low revenue teams. Also, penalties for clubs that neglect to spend revenue sharing payments on team payroll. So there is obviously in this proposal an understanding from the Players Association that small market teams need a little bit more revenue to be able to try and punch with the big boys, but also that there needs to be incentives for owners to not just pocket that revenue, put the money back on the field. And incentives are included here to try and put that money back on the field. Now, this is obviously not going to be the owners tomorrow, not going to be like, hey, that sounds great. We'll have baseball in 2027. But when can we sign this? When can we agree to this? But this is the player's first offer. The owners are going to make an offer tomorrow. I'm sure it will include a salary cap. But you now have the understanding of the start of terms that players are willing to try and compromise on with the owners. So anyway, next headline. Speaking of baseball ownership, Spencer.
Yes. So 1587 Prime in Kansas City is a joint venture between Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Kelce has a lot of other business ventures, Garage Beer with his brother Jason Kelce. And we know Mahomes is he's part owner of the Kansas City Royals, part owner of the Kansas City Current, and Sporting KC as well. Well, now his buddy Travis Kelce is part owning in a MLB team. That's his hometown team, the Cleveland Guardians. He announced it on his podcast today with his brother Jason Kelce on New Heights. The Guardians have been valued at approximately $1.7 billion, according to Forbes. He's only buying a very small share of that. Minority owner David Blitzer, who owns a bunch of things, including part ownership of 76er or managing partner of the 76ers and Devils with Josh Harris, and he also owns a part of the Commanders. What interesting thing here is Travis Kelce comes in as a limited part or very limited partner, but Blitzer could take full ownership of the Guardians, who he bought his ownership through by 2028. So maybe by 2028 he might be able to buy more of the team.
So
fun fact.
That is interesting. It's also interesting that now you have an American League Central rivalry in the Chiefs locker room for now.
For 1 year.
Wonder if Trav's going to come out, hey, we're up on you by 9 games, Pat. What's up? more friendly fire between two teammates who have a great relationship, Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, who, of course, has a minority ownership stake in the Royals. Let's round up our 580 Sports Talk headlines with the playoff roundup.
It's time for the 580 Sports Talk playoff roundup.
In the NBA last night, the pivotal Game 5 between the Thunder and the Spurs went to Oklahoma City as they flopped their way to a 127-114 win over the San Antonio Spurs. The constant fouling of the Thunder looks like it's starting to take its toll on Victor Wembanyama, who looked physically fatigued and had an off night shooting. Meanwhile, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shot 17 free throws. If that is the kind of basketball you like to watch, then God bless you. But Oklahoma City playing ref ball looks like it's going to get them back to the NBA Finals. They are 1 win away. Game 6 is tomorrow. Of course, there is no Eastern Conference final game tonight because the Eastern Conference finals are over. The New York Knicks sweeping their way past the Cleveland Cavaliers. You hear Trump says he's going to a finals game?
Yeah.
The president of the United States, Donald Trump, says he's been invited by Knicks owner and owner of Madison Square Garden, James Dolan, to attend an NBA Finals game. All the money in my wallet for all the money in yours. He decides not to do that.
It's going to be an S show around there anyway.
Somebody is going to tell him, one of his days is going to tell him, sir, with respect, sir, this is not an SEC football game. This is not the Army-Navy game. This is not a UFC fight. It's very different crowd.
But remember,
with
he's been a Knicks fan forever.
I'm sure he has. I'm sure he's got some hot Marty Collins takes. I'm sure he. I bet he ate a lot of the Andrea Bargnani tape. Him and Timothy Chalamet were watching the same Knicks teams in the 2010s. They're gonna sit next to each other and swap Pablo Prigioni stories.
In a very protected booth suite. There's no way.
They can't put the president courtside.
No.
Yeah, they can't put the president courtside. Now, I don't think he's going to go. I think he is going to be advised to make a different decision. And we'll make a different
We're
decision.
not going to talk politics here, but
no, sirens blaring.
If he did not go to his son's wedding, why should he go to the Knicks game?
That's a good point. I would have that same question.
If I was the son, I would
Donald
be very
Trump Jr.,
bad.
I would have the same question. I would say, "Dang, he go to the finals, but he's not going to my wedding. Dang, that's tough. That's tough." Anyway,
that was not a political statement.
No, not a political statement. It's a joke.
I just thought,
we're having fun here on 580 Sports Talk. Let's abruptly not have fun. In the NHL last night, the Las Vegas Golden Knights swept the Colorado Avalanche to reach the 3rd Stanley Cup final in their 9-year history. A 2-1 win sweeps aside the pre-tournament favorites and extends the President's Trophy curse 1 more year. I read somewhere, it was at The Athletic today, I'm pretty sure, that the Avalanche are 1 cup wonders. And it's like, is that meant as an insult? Like, you know who'd love to be a 1 cup wonder? Connor McDavid. You know who only won 1 cup in his career? The greatest goal scorer in the history of the NHL. I shouldn't say his career not technically over. He could still get 1 more. Leave that door ajar.
July is the decision.
Look, man, no matter how great a team you build, sometimes you only get 1. Sometimes you don't get 1 at all. And yes, sometimes you do get more than 1, but comparison is the thief of joy. And that is how I am coping. Also, it took the Avs 5 years to win a second after they won their first in 96. Next year will be 5 years after 2022. So hopefully history will repeat itself, and hopefully we can get a number 2 center who shows up in the playoffs. Brock Nelson, you are as useless as a poopy-flavored lollipop. Game 4 tonight in the East, Carolina and Montreal. Canes lead that series 2-1. On the topic of the championship series in both the NBA and the NHL, that'll be part of One Gotta Go, which is coming up next on 580 Sports Talk. We'll get to one got to go in a second. I thought about this, though. President Trump wants to go to an NBA Finals game. All he's got to do is come out before, because they're going to, I think it's going to be the Thunder. Wemby looks gassed. I think it's going to be Oklahoma City. Trump shows up before whatever, game 3, game 4. All he's got to do is say something about the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's very unethical basketball, very unethical hoops. It's not the kind of basketball that anybody likes. It's very SGA with Canadian. I don't know about those Canadians. All he's got to do is hit the Thunder with some trash talk. He might get a standing ovation in the Garden and any other building in the league, because I do think it is amazing. My President Trump impression obviously could use some work. It is amazing how many people just cannot stand the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah. And
coming to the same realization that I came to last year, that it is unwatchable garbage basketball. And if you defend it, you're a chump. That's kind of mean. That's mean. I don't mean that. But no, it's gross. It's anti-basketball. They're playing against the refs. They're playing against the whistle every night. They don't really play their opponent. They're playing ref ball. And I mean, why wouldn't they? It works. If it's rewarded, winning is its own justification for unethical basketball. But yeah, Trump to go out. I'm going to sign an executive order, and we're gonna stop this. We're gonna put a stop to this flopping. We're gonna put a stop. Isaiah Hartenstein, we're going to get him out of there. We're going to get him out of there very strongly. And, yeah, he gets standing ovation in the Garden for that during the NBA Finals. One got to go. Speaking of, looks like we're going to be down to these 4 cities in the NBA and the NHL Championship Series. And you got to hang out in one of them for the duration of the Championship Series. Which one are you picking? Raleigh, North Carolina, Las Vegas, Nevada, New York City, or Oklahoma City? You got to hang out in one for the duration of the Championship Series.
Ooh.
I think this is a really easy answer, personally.
Raleigh.
Really?
Yeah.
It's got to be New York, man. New York's going to be so live for the finals.
I don't know, man.
It's going to be so, maybe that's just my sensibilities. I'm more of a city person. But, it was unbelievable, the atmosphere in New York, outside the Garden when they won Game 4. That's the atmosphere I want to be a part of. I got no desire. I'm sure there are nice places to eat and some cool museums in Raleigh, but I got no desire to hang out in Raleigh. I don't really think the hockey culture there is that cracking. Vegas is just not my kind of town, period, comma, exclamation point. I want nothing to do with Las Vegas. And I'm about to go to Oklahoma City for a couple of days. I got nothing against Oklahoma City other than their basketball team. I don't want to hang out there for 2 weeks. I'm 3 days and I'm probably good. I think that's everything. And New York, man. New York during the NBA Finals. How long they've wanted that in New York. Let me add this caveat. You get to go to the home games in that city. There's no way there's a better atmosphere than the Garden for the final.
I thought you meant just you have to be in an area.
No, you got to.
No, I'll go to the home game. Okay, I'll take New York.
Okay.
I've changed my mind.
All right.
Also, because Raleigh is just the arena is just there.
Yeah, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah.
If I was in Vegas, I'd lose all my money.
Yeah.
And if I was in OKC, I mean, it's okay.
I just that's the Vegas crowd. It's not really a hockey crowd. It's just that's a show. It's like a Britney Spears residency. You buy tickets to say you went and you're part of the show. Like going to see David Copperfield. There are no real hockey fans in Las Vegas. Anyway, but there are basketball fans in New York.
Yeah.
Man. Oh my goodness. That city is going to be on fire in a really cool way. Give me New York. I'd love to be in NYC for the next few weeks during a Knicks finals run. That'd be epic. All right. You got one got to go today?
Yeah. Kind of weird fast food related here.
All right.
Fries. One got to go. McDonald's, just McDonald's fries.
Okay. The fries. We're talking about the fries
yes.
here. Okay.
Chick-fil-A waffle fries.
All right.
Arby's curly fries.
So what you're really asking me is French fry styles here.
Yes.
You've got your traditional, what do you call them? Not shoestring fries, because that'd be like Freddy's. Freddy's got the shoestring fries. I don't know what you call McDonald's fry? What kind of French fry? It's a regular fry. It's not a steak fry. It's not. It's too thick to be a shoestring fry.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I don't know what you call that. Just a regular old fry.
Just a regular
shape. Yeah, like your clip art version of a French fry. And you've got waffle fries and you've got curly fries. That is extremely hard because I like them all, and I think that I would never turn down one of those.
You have to.
But
though.
you're telling me I have to.
You have to exile one, and you can never have it again.
I can never have it again? Oh, rude. Oh, man. Okay. What's your answer?
It's got to be Arby's. I just don't go to Arby's, so
you just wouldn't miss it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the waffle fry here, and here's the reason why I say the waffle fry. Because sometimes you get the heel. You know what I mean? You get the waffle fry that's not poked through. It's like the heel of bread. And I don't like that. Like the bad waffle fry. Like the bad, there's no bad like shape of curly fry. There's no bad like shape of regular fry. They're all good. But there's a bad shape of waffle fry that if you get it, it makes me sad. So that is the only reason. Because I would eat. I'll go and get a large fry at all three of those places right this second and eat them and have no problem with that. Mark B says waffle fries hold gravy the best. So hold on here a second.
Not a gravy.
How do we feel about gravy on French fries? I am a no on French fries with gravy.
I'm a no on gravy at all.
No gravy at all.
I don't like the consistency.
Like not even like a thick gravy.
No.
Like
I had it when I was a kid once and
didn't like it.
Swore it off.
Wow. Developed a food aversion as a youth. I like gravy on mashed potatoes. Sure. Gravy on chicken fried steak, chicken fried chicken. Yeah, bet. Brown gravy, white gravy, all the same to me, baby. I'll eat it. Not with French fries though. With French fries, like I don't even always eat ketchup with them. I'm making fun of you for being weird. Here's me being weird. I will eat McDonald's fries with ketchup if I am at the McDonald's. But if I bring them home, I eat them plain.
See, if I'm sitting down and eating a dinner, no matter where I am, I'll eat it. But if I'm like on the road, I ain't dipping.
Yeah,
I'm not taking out the little bag at McDonald's, a little ketchup pouch, and just
right. I think the ketchup tastes better out of the little paper cup. Does it? Probably not. But I'm weird about McDonald's. Like, I'm really weird about McDonald's. Like, I'll eat a McDouble, but also if I order a Big Mac, I order it without cheese. I order a Big Mac without cheese, but I will eat a quarter pounder with cheese. It is not the cheese I have an aversion to. It is just, I used to not like cheese on my hamburgers. I'm a food aversion I had as a youth. I no longer have that same food aversion, but to me, a Big Mac doesn't need cheese on it. And that's just me. I'm weird about that. But they make it the way I ask them to. And that's all I ask. That's what I approve of. Clearly, we're hungry on 580 Sports Talk. So we're going to take a timeout. We'll come back. But before we take a timeout, I got a pair of tickets to Boots and Bow Ties at the Topeka Zoo Friday, June 5th with live music with Dallas Pryor and the Lazy Wayne Band, a mechanical bull, and prizes for the best boots, best hat, and best Western look. A pair of tickets for Boots and Bow Ties to caller number 2 during this timeout on 580 Sports Talk. To caller number 2 to 785-272-9429. You're our first caller. Try again. Congrats to Jamie, our winner of the 2 tickets to Boots and Bow Ties at the Topeka Zoo. You'll have another chance to win tomorrow and then one more chance on Friday. And if you don't win, you'll have to buy them. But you can do that from the Topeka Zoo or at 580wibw.com. Is a 10.24 ERA bad? 10.24. Is that a bad earned run average, Spencer Dupuis?
I would say at this point in the season, yes.
Well, it's not a season ERA. It's the career ERA for Noah Cameron against the New York Yankees in 2 starts. Noah Cameron has been treated like a piñata by the Pinstripes. Back on June 10th of last year, gave up 6 runs on 7 hits in 5 2/3. April 18th of this year, gave up 7 runs, 5 earned on 7 hits in 4 innings. He has given up 5 home runs of the 14 hits he's allowed in 9 2/3 innings. But, hey, maybe the third time will be a charm. Back-to-back quality starts for the Southpaw, who has tried to shake off a bumpy start to his season. 3 of his last 5 starts have been quality, in fact, including 6 shutout innings against Seattle his last time out. He'll go against former Cy Young winner Garrett Cole, who made his 2026 debut 5 days ago against the Rays and pitched 6 innings of 2-hit shutout ball against the team with the best record in the AL. His lifetime ERA against the Royals, if you're curious, or at least his ERA in his last 5 appearances against the Royals, an ERA of 2.43. Last time the Royals saw Cole was actually in the 2024 postseason.
Yeah.
He pitched game 4 of the division series that year and went 7 and got the win. So it is Cole and Cameron tonight, the lineup for the Royals. They'll try and salvage one in this series. It's a familiar one. Michael Garcia at third, Bobby Witt Jr. at short, Vinny Pasquantino at first, Salvador Perez behind, or DHing. It'll be Carter Jensen behind the plate batting 5th. Then Lane Thomas in center field, giving Kyle Isbell a day off. He bats 6th. Jack Caglione batting 7th in right field. Michael Massey at 2nd, batting 8th. And Isaac Collins in left field will bat 9th. For the Yankees, they want to get their righty killer, Paul Goldschmidt, as many at-bats as possible, or their lefty killer, Goldschmidt, against the lefty. So he's going to lead off and play first base tonight. Then Ben Rice, the left-handed hitting DH, followed by Aaron Judge in right field, Cody Bellinger in center field, and another lefty killer, Ahmed Rosario, at second base. Anthony Volpe's in right field, or at short, batting 6th. Ryan McMahon, Rocky great, at third base tonight, batting 7th. Jose Caballeros in left field. Austin Wells is behind the plate.
Hey, I didn't get a chance to talk about last night's, the worst loss of the season.
Wasn't a lot to say, right?
Isn't it just fitting that your best offensive player scored the only run via home run? He was doing what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, him looking like the only guy who belonged on the field with the New York Yankees. Yeah, that.
Yes,
and maybe that's not fair. Lane Thomas had 2 hits.
Oh, yeah, he had a double.
But
I just meant that produced runs.
Right, no.
Or the run.
Yeah, he's their best player. He's on track to win an MVP, and he's on track to do it for a team that might finish in last place.
Yep.
Very unfortunate state of affairs. Hopefully the Royals can, it's the beauty of baseball, right? You never know. One word to describe baseball, Joaquin Andujar once said, you never know. Joaquin's English wasn't great. You'll have to forgive him for that. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with the final word to put a wrap on this Wednesday edition of 580 Sports Talk. Couple of quick updates from high school sports. Silver Lake baseball wins in extra innings. They're going to play for a 3A state title. Hayden soccer beats Bishop Miege. Emma Slider with the late winner, 2-1. Hayden over Miege to go to the 4A girls soccer state championship game. Final word time, Spencer Dupuis.
It wasn't talked about on the show, but tickets for the NCAA regional in Lawrence went on sale this morning at 10 a.m. All that was left was like a handful of the backyard tickets, the new seating they're adding behind left field, because the baseball supporters showed up and they bought like all of the tickets when they were sent out an email about 45 minutes before 10 a.m. when they were allowed to go in the pre-sale. So shout out to KU for packing it hopefully with all their fans, because you had Arkansas who could travel. You had Missouri State also coming in, and those are teams that would travel, especially Arkansas, an SEC team, traveling fans. So shout out to KU. Hopefully I'll be out there Saturday covering it. So hopefully it'll be a KU crowd everywhere.
Final word for me today. The Royals are a team with a leadership void. And that's not to say that they do not have leaders in their clubhouse. They have a captain, one of very few teams with a designated captain in Salvador Perez. And they have guys who are presences, who command respect with their play or with their personalities. But for the moment they're in, they have a leadership void, because getting sand kicked in their face over and over again by the Yankees should not be an acceptable state of affairs. And I don't know who's going to stand up in the locker room. Be there Alex Gordon. Hell, be there Raul Ibanez or Johnny Gomes. I briefly had the thought, I saw Andrew McCutcheon got DFA'd by the Rangers today. I briefly had the thought, maybe the Royals should bring him in. He's cooked. He'd be their worst hitter. But maybe they should bring him in because they need a leader. They need somebody to grab him by the scruff of their neck, because it's getting late early for the boys in blue. That'll do it for us. That'll do it for me for the week. I'm out Thursday and Friday. Brendan and Spencer have you the rest of the week. I'll talk to you next week. The show will be back from 3 to 6 tomorrow. For Brendan and Spencer, I'm Dan. This has been 580 Sports Talk on 580 WIBW. Good night.